What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the House of Kayfabe. I'm, of course, the other Steve. I know that you hit on this thumbnail because you want to hear us discuss the juicy details of CM Punk. Well, we are a wrestling podcast first. So, unlike everyone else on YouTube, we actually reviewed the show. But that means we didn't talk about the CM Punk thing until 39 minutes and 22 seconds in. So if you don't want to hear us talk about the pay-per-view, which the pay-per-view by all accounts was pretty good, go ahead and go to 39 minutes and 22 seconds. I know that's why you're here anyway. Well, I am not injured. I am a little tired. I'm definitely old. And good thing for me, I don't work with fucking children. Welcome to the House of Kayfabe.
I was so waiting on a jab there, Barker.
I don't work with fucking children. We are here to talk about Clash at the Castle. No, we're not. We're going to be talking about the only thing that anybody's watching right now, and I am talking about right now, and I am here with the best damn indie announcer on the scene, Adam Harris. I am here with the human wrestling encyclopedia, who I'm afraid may think mommy and daddy's fighting, Derek Jones. What's that?
Hold on.
I was worried about you during the scrum, man.
Dude, all right. So before we get to that, and you're talking about people you work with, I came because Steve New's supposed to be here. I wanted to hear the legal jargon on everything. What's going on?
Well, you would think that a podcast that includes the heavyweight champion trial lawyer of the world and the lawyer to all the workers would be here, but Steve New was actually last seen chasing an ambulance in Chicago, so you can take that for what you will. So hopefully Steve New will be able to come on here and talk a little bit more in depth about what we're talking about. Now, I did not see this pay-per-view because I was doing a honeydew list on Sunday and I knew I had Labor Day to watch it. And then I woke up on Monday and it was just CM Punk scrum interview. Now, every other podcast and video content maker has not talked about the podcast or the pay-per-view at all. So Derek, Adam, I want you to give us a rundown on what do you think the high points, because we can't do them all because there's fucking 15 matches on this thing. So D Jones, where are we going to start on this pay-per-view? And of course, keep listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, a comment, and a share. Give us a tap on the notification bell and the subscription button. And we are going to get to the biggest story in the world of wrestling. But D Jones, let's talk about wrestling first.
Let's talk about wrestling. As excited as I am to talk about the aftermath, I was impressed with this card. So, and you said, where are we going to start? I want to start at 0 Hour. The show started with 0 Hour. There were 3 matches on 0 Hour. I just want to talk about one of them, and I want to talk about Hook versus Angelo Parker. I thought that was the best match on the pre-show. Obviously, people are going to think Eddie Kingston's match was great and Kip and Pac had a great match. But to me, Hook and Angelo Parker, because it continues the story of Hook and his development in AEW. And there's even a line that Angelo Parker drops during the match, and it says, "I'm here to expose you of the little kid that you are." And it just built so much through the match. It was a great finish, great match. Hook looked like $1 million. Like, that kid is a grappler, and I love it. I love catch-as-catch-can wrestling. I love throws, judo throws, suplexes. He's got it all, and I absolutely love that match. I thought it was the best match on the pre-card.
I, for one, am a fan of this, especially because it was one of the shorter matches of the night. One of the only people who could be considered as not going too long throughout this whole night, I didn't like that mixed tag match, man. Ruby Riott got dropped on her head and then kicked in the face by Ty Conte, man. Yeah, broke the nose. Hate to see that, man. Because I feel like her and Ortiz this is floundering. They're just there to get Sammy and Ty over. I just hope that they both move on soon from this.
So was the Hook match like semi-squash?
4 minutes long.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you need to do.
There was a little offense in there. He took a little offense.
Yeah. Okay, get a man over, and they're getting Hook over. We all were at AEW actually for the second pipe bomb in Charleston, West Virginia. Man, Hook is so fucking over. Oh my God, people love him. If they don't fuck him up, and I thought they were going to getting him rubbed up against Danhausen, and I love Danhausen, but let's keep this man serious. This is Taz's kid, and no one was more serious as a wrestler than Taz. I could speak for Matt Mullins that we are huge Taz marks. So Derek, after Hook does his fantastic finish, where else we going?
So go straight into the main card of the pay-per-view. They open with the casino ladder match, and we absolutely have to talk about the ladder match, because if we're not, the end of the show doesn't make any sense. So we have to talk about the casino ladder match. First off, during the casino ladder match, can I say that Roosh is an idiot? And okay, I talk
Go
about it.
specifically.
Please let me just spew it all out there. Specifically, Roosh is an idiot, and Andrade looked to be a little bit of an idiot as well. But Roosh more specifically, because he's coming out, he's stripping down all his stuff, and Yuta is climbing the ladder. And he's no-selling the shit out of it. Like, it doesn't matter, buddy. You go ahead. You climb right on up that ladder. This isn't real. But we're just hanging out. You're not allowed to touch that thing until I get in the ring.
That's right.
Dude,
I know
you're
the
al-
finish. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
the finish. He's not going to get anywhere.
Right. Takes his time.
Fuck.
Like, okay, I get it. If there's guys fighting and you're coming out, you want to get your shit in and get your entrance going. Okay, I understand. But literally, when there's a guy 2/3 of the way up the ladder, scrap that stuff and bolt, man. Get to the
I think
ring.
that's a way more exciting entrance is if you rush in there,
Oh,
try to knock
shit.
him off the ladder immediately. You know, he does a bunch of flippy stuff. He could have jumped on the ropes, kicked him off of the ladder, man. I love that you pick up on stuff like that, Derek, man. This was just a lot of overbooked nonsense for me. And honestly, when the match started, I was like, oh, good, let's at least get this out of the way. Not thinking that the Joker was going to play such a factor I figured it might be some other random surprise, you know, like, oh, Kyle O'Reilly isn't gone,
Right.
or something like that. But it turned out to be, like you said, it tied the pay-per-view together with a nice little bow.
Right. So they have the match going on, and then all of a sudden you see the masked figures come out. One climbs up, grabs the poker chip, comes down, reveals himself as Stokely, or he reveals himself on the ladder, but it's Stokely. He's come out with Morrissey, Austin and Colton Gunn, Lee Moriarty. They're aces and eights reunited,
Oh,
revisited.
God. No.
They were
No.
all wearing black hoodies. I mean,
Right.
they all kind of
Yeah.
came out inconspicuously.
So they all come out, they're doing their thing, and then here comes the actual Joker wearing a cool looking mask, takes the chip, match is over, goes for the reveal, no reveal, up the ramp he goes. The super cool moment. As soon as he gets out of the ring and starts to walk, that head starts to sway, and at that point in time, you're like, man, I know that guy. I know that strut.
I was
They
going
don't-
to say, did they try to hide it? Did they really try to hide it?
To an extent, but I think he got so in the moment, because in the ring, couldn't really tell a whole lot. As soon as he got out of the ring, still not much. But when he started up that ramp, that head, man, he was that guy,
Was he covered head to toe?
head to toe.
completely.
Okay, because that's the
There
only
was-
way.
You can see about
could have
that
done
much of a wrist, and thankfully he didn't overdo it with the tanner. So you didn't really know who he was, because sometimes them hands are a little rough looking on him.
it.
They're a little orange. But no, it was a waste.
It wasn't
of
a
match.
total giveaway either, though. Like for the hardcores, they
Right.
knew, but I
Yeah.
would say some of the more, less avid viewers probably had no idea.
Absolutely.
Are there any less avid viewers though? Oh, no, maybe
Probably
that's
not
for
for
another.
AEW.
No, maybe that's
Probably-
for another
Probably
podcast.
not
It's
for
either
AEW.
it's either people who have AEW tattoos or nobody. It's ridiculous,
one
man.
yet.
It's a fucking cult. It's a cult. And I love the fact that Derek Jones just sounded just like God Emperor Jim Cornette pointing out Roosh being a moron. That's such Jim Cornette. So what else we got? Adam Harris says it's a overbooked mess. Derek Jones, 1 to 5. What do we got on this match?
For the casino ladder match,
Yeah.
for the match itself, probably like a 1.67.
Ow.
But the
It
finish
was a lot, and the finish was
the
very memorable. Finish was a
finish
5.
was a 5. Absolutely. So we'll average it out on a 3 and call it a day.
That's generous.
Yeah.
What else you got?
All right. So after the casino ladder match, you have the trios tag title match. You have the Elite versus Dark Order. A lot of storytelling in this match. You don't really know what's going to happen, who's going to play on what side, who's going to go where. so much history that went on between these guys. 4 specific, with the Elite and Hangman. Most memorable and exciting part for me about all this is the Bucks have a new pair of shoes coming out from Diadora. Got that on my notes there. Pretty excited about that. Going to have those.
Forgot about that. What do those run, man? Are we allowed to talk about that? What's the retail on that? If you get in on the pre-order.
The other pair of AEW Diadoras that come out, they're a low top. They were $120, so I'd say these are probably $120, $150. It's not bad.
$120?
Yeah.
No, that's not anything.
Yeah. Not bad.
I thought they'd be like $500 sneakers, but
no,
I don't know the sneaker market quite as much. Like
so we've got in this match we have the EVPs versus an empty-headed fucking goof. And 2 members of the Dork Order. Derek Jones, I'm sure there was flippy shit and there was no psychology, and you loved this shit, right?
I loved every second of it. And I don't like 6-man tag matches, but this actually wasn't a bad match.
Trios.
You better get used to them.
I know. I'm not crazy about it.
Those belts look great, though, for those belt marks. Man, the one thing that AEW does way better than WWE, by far, those 6-mans, man, me and Steve New were right beside of them at the AEW taping, and man, they look great.
Yeah, they do.
They look like a wrestling belt.
Well, they remind me of WCW tag titles, like late 90s, early 2000 version they had. I absolutely loved them. They were great looking belts. And
Harlem Heat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. But again, like you said, no psychology during this match. A lot of flippy shit. A lot of good build though.
Yeah. There was some.
Great crowd. I love the Chicago crowd. I've been to a couple shows in Chicago. The crowd is like no other. Really cool fall away slam, avalanche fall away slam from Hangman. It's pretty awesome. I liked that there wasn't a one-winged angel during the match, because obviously if he's injured, it could expose it. Somebody could kick out and they don't want to do that. So yeah, he did everything but, and I really enjoyed that fact. It had a good finish.
This one was for the marks, man. I mean, and I say that with all loving, everybody in that building loves the Bucks, loves Kenny Omega. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, and they did everything they were hoping they would do.
All the classic songs, man.
That's right. They hit all the classics. That's right. And then the finish was like Hangman, Johnny Hungy was holding, one of the Young Bucks probably, and
he was holding Omega.
That's it. Yeah, that's right.
He was holding Omega.
Omega.
Yeah.
Hangman, or they were about to. Hangman hits Johnny Hungy with the
buckshot.
Misses. Yeah, with the buckshot lariat. Misses, hits Johnny Hungy, and of course Kenny Omega gets the win. And so huge pop from the audience, and the most predictable winner of the last decade.
No shit. You think the Young Bucks were going to get that trios championship?
Like we're not even going to start the tournament until my guy's back, so we're not going to put him all the way through not to let him win.
And can I just say, we're 2 years into AEW, 3 years coming up, right, in October, and I was really impressed because I was not a big Young Bucks fan. I didn't follow Ring of Honor or any stuff in Impact that much. I didn't know that much about the Young Bucks, admittedly. And I think they're going to win the tag titles. Like, it makes the most perfect sense in the tournament. And if you remember, they lost their opening match against Private Party. Was that in Charleston? No,
that wasn't in Charleston.
DC.
No, I watched that on
in DC. Yeah, it was one of the first nights. Yeah, right. So and I just thought, wow, cool. They put somebody over. They're going to build the tag division. It's totally selfless, right? I mean, and I was like, well, that was predictable, that they would be the tag champs, and they didn't do it, and they swerved me from the beginning. But now here we are, and they built this whole entire tournament, and they're going to make sure this time they're written in the history books as the first trios champions.
Man, I can't wait to see an FTR Wardlow challenge. I mean, that's set up beautifully, even though it seems like the Young Bucks are kind of running from a straight up tag team match with FTR. Maybe they'll let that happen.
Maybe one day, not soon though. Yeah, not soon, not soon. I will say, what's up with Private Party, by the way? How'd that work out? They won against the Young Bucks. They're one of the few teams to beat the Young Bucks. But I like the idea of this trios thing, and we can move on after this. But I like that it levels everybody out. Like, Wardlow's in a high profile feud, and so is FTR, but they're all in this same feud, and it's not going to waste any singles contest. It's actually going to build to them, And so in the long run, I like the trios thing because if they do cool stuff like that, teaming FTR and Wardlow and making them top guys, you know.
And the trio sets up perfectly to bring in cross promotional stuff like they did
For sure.
with New Japan, right? So
Impact,
that's perfect. Let's bring in some Impact guys. Hell, fucking dust off some NWA guys. I mean, that would be set up perfectly right there.
There's a whole division we can do anything we want with that doesn't take away from any of this that's going on.
Yeah. It's a good move. It's a good move, Tony Khan. You made some bad ones later. More on that later. Derek Jones, what else you got, buddy?
All right. So the next match that come up was Jade and Athena. Absolute squash match. Kind of threw me off.
It has to be. That's all she needs to do because she can't do anything else.
Right. But how long are they going to let this continue? Like who are they going to bring in and actually allow to beat Jade after they've just let her demolish everybody else? Like, is he waiting on a Charlotte contract to end? And that's the only person in the world that he'll ever let beat her?
Derek, I have a question, and you would, of course, know, Jade Cargill got the look, got the charisma, got the speak. She can't fucking wrestle. Is she doing indie shots to get reps in?
Not to my knowledge. No,
She should be.
she absolutely should be. But I've never seen her booked anywhere but AEW.
No,
And
but it would make her look bad. It would expose her, just like
I can see
Hook in that
protecting
match,
the Precious. She's the Precious. If she could learn to work, she's going to be Charlotte Flair level, and she's got to be an athlete. But
She's
man,
pure athlete, man. She's
God
pure.
damn, her timing is bad. Her timing is like a metronome in a dishwasher.
Dude, when she
is
walked out looking like the
god-awful.
She-Hulk, have you seen any images, Barker?
did
we
see
we
that.
were in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chat talking about it. Somehow they made her look way more like actual She-Hulk than anything on that Disney Plus show. It was sad. And if I was the Disney Plus people, I would be going, whoa. How'd they get She-Hulk? Like we paid $50 billion. And
There has to be
this
copyright
woman-
there, and the fact that Warner Brothers owns TNT and they own DC Comics. There's
Oh, well.
probably something going on there. And if Steve New can catch that fucking ambulance and I'm going to probably say the upper ends of Chicago, he can come back and tell us about that because that has to be a copyright infringement.
Nope.
But yeah, if Adam
Tribute,
Harris says
tribute.
something negative about your work, Adam Harris is the man with the biggest heart. Boy, you need some reps. If Adam Harris is going to go in public and say you need help, then you probably need to get better. She's not her. I noticed this, and I say this every time I see her wrestle, because we see so much great work, because we watch so much wrestling. You don't realize how hard this shit is until you see it done badly. And Jade Cargill shows you how hard wrestling is every time she gets in the mat. It's rough.
It's
So what else we
bad.
got?
So after this match, they do a CM Punk promo vignette. Basically, hey, we're in Chicago and I am Chicago, just to kind of get the crowd built up a little bit more. And then we go straight into the Wardlow FTR match against Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal. The first note that I put on here is I really hate 6-man tags. Dude,
I love the Motor City Machine Guns, though.
It was
Love
good
Motor
to see
City.
them work. Yeah, right. I mean, it was
Yep.
good to see them work in AEW. They're for some reason they're just like overselling everything to me. Like they don't seem like badasses. They have Young Bucks syndrome. Like they're overselling, overly dramatic. Like Chris Sabin. I feel like Chris Sabin. I buy him as a legit asshole and a badass. And if you saw his earlier work, he wasn't being that flamboyantly
No.
with his delivery. Right? Am I right?
no, you're right, 100%.
And that takes me out of it. They're just overselling because they know they're on TV, and like, oh, finally a television audience. They've been,
Oh man.
I'm sorry, I watch Impact, but we all know it's like the witness protection program as
Not
the
the same
guy
anymore.
says,
It
it's
is
not
not
the
the
same.
same.
No,
Not
and
the
there's
same
great
anymore.
athletes there. There's great athletes. And I still have confidence in Impact to come back, but long story short, it was good to see them on, but I don't really have a lot of memories of this match. Derek, you might have made some notes on the moves, but like, it seemed to like go by the books and it was like 15 minutes long.
So my notes for this match is one, there's too many people outside of the ring. Drives me crazy. Satnam Singh is in way over his head in AEW, doesn't belong there. And Jay Lethal may possibly be one of the best workers in the business today. Makes everybody look like $1 million.
He's the
That's my
man.
notes.
They're underutilizing him, they're just,
Yeah.
We got to get Ring of Honor on a TV so we can get some more. So we can get
I
some
would
Dalton
love
Castle,
that.
Jay
I would
Lethal.
love that.
Speaking of Ring of Honor on TV, Samoa Joe also makes his return here.
Yay,
Oh,
I didn't
yeah,
know that.
that's
I didn't
right.
know that.
That's
So-
right. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
Oh, Samoa Joe.
Joe is
man.
back. Freaking love that guy. I'm
What did he
excited to see him
do?
back.
Did he come out and kill somebody?
It was embarrassing, dude. I thought, Derek, I want to know what you think. But so Dax Harwood gave that great promo about his 8-year-old daughter, right? Fight like a girl. Well, she comes out in the entrance. She comes out with them, and her shirt says "Fight like a girl." Huge pop from the audience. You can tell Dad is beaming with pride, and she walks back to the back. Well, after the match, she runs out. Do you remember her name, Derek? I can't remember her name.
Not right off.
So the young girl, the
Finley.
8-year-old Finley is her name.
She's
She
named after
runs
Fit
back,
Finley.
Oh my
runs
God.
back to the ring, and they do something where she gets a slap in, and this is all after Samoa Joe has returned, and so Samoa Joe has to stay there while they're holding the 8-year-old girl on their shoulders, like, yeah, yippee, and Samoa Joe is like, this could have been an email, why did I even come back for
This
this?
could have been an
Oh man,
Who
I
did he
felt
come
for
in and
Samoa
attack?
Joe.
Who did Samoa Joe attack?
I guess Jay
come-
Lethal in them, right? I don't remember.
Yeah, because they're going to set up Jay Lethal versus Joe when
There you
Ring of
go.
Honor gets going.
There we go.
Okay.
There
So
we go.
yeah,
I'll pay money for that.
So, long-term booking, man. Long-term booking.
Yeah.
I just, the whole daughter thing was a little overkill for me. And I told you, you just said I watch wrestling with my heart, but it was like at the beginning, I was good with it. At the end, I was kind of like, okay, and it took away from Samoa Joe's comeback, like Samoa Joe,
yeah.
the crowd's like, Joe, Joe, Joe. And they barely even got to chant anything because it's time to cheer for the 8-year-old girl. Anyway, rant over. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. We're here for the rant.
So
Lee Jones.
cutting motion straight into the action again. We have Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Such a huge Stark fan. Match made him look very strong against Powerhouse Hobbs. And I like the finish. Hobbs just catches him in a spine buster, puts him down hard. It's just one of the, anybody
1, 2, 3.
anybody can take one to the jaw and go to sleep. Kind of had that feel to it, so I liked it. It didn't make him look weak. He didn't get abused the whole match like he probably could have or should have. Solid match, nothing
5 minutes.
overly hyped. Yeah.
This was another one that didn't go too long. And I was actually surprised. I thought they would find some way to take Hobbs out, but if there's a clean finish, somebody uses their finish and gets a 1, 2, 3, I'm down for it. And Ricky Starks, he'll be over no matter how many L's he has in the loss column.
Absolutely. So the next match is actually one of the more exciting matches of the night. Swerve and Lee versus the Acclaimed. I would say the crowd probably got behind this match more than they did any other match of the night, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Great match. Obviously, everybody loves the Acclaimed because the town of Chicago, if nobody else loves them, loves the Acclaimed. And it was a great match start to finish. It wasn't overly saturated with a bunch of nonsense. Good finish, but the wrong team won.
More people at ringside too, right, during this match.
Billy
But
Gunn.
the crowd was Barker. This one's worth looking up because the crowd was electric. And this match was 22 minutes, but it didn't seem like that because the crowd was just so into it, and they were chanting something like, "Whoa, scissor me, daddy! Whoa, scissor me, dad!" I mean, just like crowd was the sixth man in this match. They talked about that same thing at Clash at the Castle. The crowd was into this match, so much so that in the scrum that we're going to get to eventually, one journalist even asked, after reading Twitter way too much, if Tony Khan thought about calling an audible during the match and changing the finish.
If he would have,
Easy.
if he ever would have had an opportunity, that would have been the opportunity.
Oh, if
Like-
they'd have won that match, I would have been like, "Yep, supposed to happen." I would have
Yeah.
believed it.
Absolutely.
Swerve and Scott, transitional champions. Put the
Yeah.
belts on these guys.
They're the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was such a hard fought match that it would have been deserved. It's not just something that only because the crowd wanted it to happen. No, they worked their butts off and would have deserved a W there. And if they're not getting it there, the next pay-per-view or Revolution at the beginning of next year, they deserve an opportunity to take a run for the titles. Because not
Definitely.
only do they have a good move set, they're hard workers, but they're making money. They're selling merchandise. Just released a shirt, top seller shirt in the last 30, 60 days or something for AEW. I mean, they're something.
I hope they get to win it in front of a crowd that is that hot for them.
Yes.
it may never happen again, but I hope for their sake that they get to. You know, it'll be well deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. I
They're
agree.
stars.
So the next match we'll look at is Baker versus Hayter versus Sheeta versus Storm. It was a waste for me.
Derek Jones it's so hard for him to hide his distaste for female wrestling and specifically AEW female wrestling.
Bad
This-
female wrestling.
So
Yeah.
Adam Harris, you know,
This was
one of the things about the House of Kayfabe that's so great is everybody has their move set that is unique. You know, Derek Jones, of course, is the mayor of AEW Twitterville, and Adam Harris is the biggest female wrestling mark that I know. So Adam,
Yeah.
I know what Derek's going to say. Adam, can you give us something good about this match?
I like Toni Storm. I think she has blossomed on AEW. Like they're finally doing something, putting her over. I don't remember a whole lot about this match. There was some double team stuff with obviously between Britt Baker and Hayter, right? So they're kind of in cahoots with each other, and so that was good. They teased the lockjaw a couple of times, but and this was 14 minutes long. So I mean, they tried to get a lot of stuff in. I'd like to watch it again, actually, because I don't really remember anything standing out as being super, but I don't want to just cut them off at the knees like that.
Well, I will say that of their workers, that's probably the best workers they have besides Thunder Rosa. I think
Probably
Sheeta is
true,
good.
yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Sheeta's
Sheeta's great.
good. Toni Storm, of course, came up through the Performance Center, so she's not going to do anything bad. You know, she may not do anything fantastic, but it's going to be solid. It's one thing you can say about the Performance Center. Everybody that comes out of there is fundamentally sound,
Mhm.
and they may have boring matches, but everything is safe. Everything is
Clean.
fundamentally clean, right? Hayter, I think, might be the best worker in the locker room.
I think she
Derek?
has a lot of potential. Yeah. She continues to impress me.
And like my first note on this was, it's a shame that Hayter's not going to win because that's who the crowd is behind.
She getting some heat.
Interesting, yeah.
The crowd, I feel like, was really. I feel like they were more into Jamie Hayter tonight than they've ever been, and she deserves it. I mean, because she is probably one of the best workers,
And
women workers on AEW roster.
when she gets to turn on Britt, it'll be great. I think that'll be, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, that
They've
could be.
teased it since she's come in,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's ready for it.
Mhm.
But they both got to be healthy, and I think there has to be a belt in play. So Britt needs to win the title again before that ever happens.
Okay. All right. I was going to say they don't need the belt if that feud is hot enough, but you
Oh.
might be right. It might be even better if Britt should somehow get the belt back. I could see that happening for sure.
I think it's definitely a lot sweeter for Jamie Hayter if the belt is in play,
Yeah.
or at
yeah,
least
for sure.
a belt.
Right. One of the several women's championships that are out there. Maybe they'll start the Ring of Honor, bring that back, women's division.
Yeah.
Women of Honor.
Where we got? We got to get to this scrum.
That's
what else we
right.
got?
All right. So
Cage and
yeah.
Luchasaurus. We saw that coming, right? Like
Yeah.
I've been thinking the whole time, like Luchasaurus is not on Jungle Boy's side. This has been Christian Cage all along. Turns out to be pretty convenient. Apparently Christian might be injured, and this match went about 20 seconds. Did nothing for Jungle Boy, but I'm not getting the shovel out on Jungle Boy. He'll get beyond this one loss.
Man,
to
he's
Christian.
boy. Hey, he can work. His body is maturing. He's starting to look more like a star. They gave him his name during that Christian Cage set down with good old JR, because he mentioned who he actually was, because that Jungle Boy shit's got to go. He can't
Yeah,
get to
eventually.
this next level.
Eventually.
That's just got to go, right?
and I think this is the first step to that next level. I've talked about it a few times. He's going to turn heel eventually, and he's going to cut his hair and refer to himself as the Hollywood son, Jack Perry. And if he doesn't, it's such a waste.
Well, what I was going to say is, he's a good, solid worker. His looks getting nice, but man, he's Jade Cargill on the mic.
Yeah.
How can a son of an acclaimed actor
Oh, I
be
think it's
so
that.
bad at
Mm.
talking? It's so bad. Like we watched his go home promo, and when he attacked Christian at the Charleston taping that we were all at, and Matt Mullins, who doesn't get the shovel out much, said this was the worst promo he's ever seen in the AEW.
Well, there aren't too many Colin Hanks. Just think about that. There's only a rare one who is going to be the son of an amazing actor and still be a reputable actor. So I think Jungle Boy, though, if you're right, if Cargill could go like Jungle Boy,
Stardom,
Yeah.
dude. She's going to be in movies and shit if she can figure this shit out. So are we at the main event yet?
We're at Bryan Danielson versus
God,
Chris Jericho.
okay, I wanna hear
the
about
Lionheart Chris Jericho.
the Lionheart. That's
Why
right, my
won't
boy.
he use the music?
He did use the music.
He did.
He used Electric Head Part 2 by Rob Zombie. That's what he used in ECW as the Lionheart.
Nice,
And when he
nice.
traveled abroad,
Nice.
I was so excited to hear
Nice.
that music.
Good. We got to get that Judas shit out of here.
Well, and it was great
Man.
booking because of that too. Like he would have been, the crowd probably would have sang it. Like
Yeah.
it or not, they're Chicago. The crowd would have
Mhm.
sang it, and it wouldn't have been the same feel.
Right.
So you're right. That pro move, by not doing that.
So tell me about this match. Did Bryan Danielson
25
beat the
minutes.
dog shit out of Jericho?
25 minutes of hard hitting, good grappling, good transitions. Bryan Danielson is probably the best technician in ring today.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
And he kind
probably
of has been for a while.
probably top 5 all time. Dude, he's so smooth. He's so believable. And he is stiff when he needs to be stiff, and it's great.
And with the other worker, I say he's definitely. It does depend on the other worker, but in this case, Jericho hung in there. I think he was like on top of his game in this instance. Jericho has been hit or miss, and I'm the biggest Jericho mark there is. But when it comes time to deliver in a main event style thing like this, Jericho, and him, he wants to steal the show. He wants to always leave an impression, and so he's going to take whatever Danielson will give him. And with guys backstage, I hope they were watching. I hope Hangman and who's the guy that they're in the feud with?
Young Bucks, EVPs.
No, the member of the JAS who is like Dante Martin.
Daniel Garcia.
Garcia. Thank you. Jeez Louise, I totally got hung up there.
I mean, that
but,
kind of tells you what you need to know about Daniel Garcia.
Well, I like Garcia. I think it's there, man. I do. I've
needs a
switched over
gimmick or
after watching
something.
him in West Virginia, man. I
that
thought
match was great, but man,
Garcia is over with me.
He's
Yeah,
now
Garcia's
got to
over
get a
with me.
gimmick. He
And
needs
so is
something.
Jericho, and he's trying to sprinkle the dust on Garcia as well. But man, I thought this match was good. Still a little long. Like it didn't have to be 25. Like it didn't.
Right.
A nice strong 18 would have been perfect. So anyway, I thought it was a great match and one of the best of both of these guys in AEW. Both of their records, I think.
Okay.
And
we at the-
then
are we at
6-man, one more trios match.
Oh my fucking God.
They're getting this trio thing over, brother.
Jesus Christ. Who's this?
So,
Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro, which I've been excited to have Miro back in the ring against Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews with Julia Hart. What'd you have?
Malachi
down there?
Black, of course, is gone now.
we don't know.
We
don't know because he asked for his release, but I'm hearing that it was denied, and then he may just get some time off. I don't think Tony Khan wants to let go of something that good, so he might just tell him, "Hey, go collect yourself, get your head together, come back when you're ready," type deal. So first note, and it's not the first time I've had this note for one of their matches, Proud and Powerful. Like when you wrestle Sting and Darby, stop painting your damn face. There's too much face paint going on. If you're wrestling Sting, you don't paint your face. Darby now has that ability. If you wrestle Darby, don't paint your face. There's too much of it. It doesn't.
Oh, the House of Black was all painted up.
Yeah, completely.
All painted up.
It's just
But that's their gimmick, though, right?
not all the time.
Yeah, but it's pay-per-view. It's pay-per-view. And I feel like this is like this is the special effects match. This is where they get to do Sting and Darby Allin's face paint. And so therefore Malachi Black and their entrance gear was insane. This was another one built for the figures, right? Like this is going to be a ringside exclusive House of Black ring gear at some point, if
Was
everybody
this a
stays with the program.
toyetic costume?
Toyetic, yes, it was
Yes.
definitely a toyetic match. I will say that for sure. Yeah, for sure. And another thing that gets lost in the shuffle is Malachi, trying to sign off and make a big deal out of it. Like nobody's talking about that now. They did for a little bit, but as we'll get to, fucking
Right.
nobody is talking about any
Yep.
of the matches on this show.
When it happened, it was the thing trending was
Yeah.
Malachi back. He takes a bow at the end of the match at the top of the ramp.
And they
kisses
didn't show that,
everybody
right? It
goodbye.
wasn't on
No,
camera.
Wasn't
So
on
it,
camera.
So it got fire from the audience talking about it.
Right.
Main
Other-
event yet?
Now we are at the main event.
Drum roll.
Man, just listening to this pay-per-view sounds like it's too fucking long. So let's get
I want
down
my
to the-
$50 back.
Good Lord. Yeah, Adam Harris is too good-hearted. He wants the boys to get their paycheck, and he just won't go do a completely illegal stream like the rest of us would. Derek, you pay, right?
Most of the time.
Like my good-hearted wrestling fans right here, right?
Most of
Okay,
the
so let's get down to brass tacks. Because this is why everybody clicked on this fucking video. And I'm actually going to probably put a stinger at the beginning and say, if you want to go straight to the CM Punk part, hit here. You know what I mean? Because really, nobody has done what we did. We have plowed new ground because nobody has talked about the wrestling at all. Of course, we'll get into that. So Derek Jones, you're a huge fan of both of these men. I think personally that it should have been dastardly heel, should have been maybe Jericho, that CM Punk came in, because you've just got, when we were in the crowd, it's just off. Every fucking body loves CM Punk and everybody loves John Moxley. And I know that babyface can work and is something as old as wrestling itself, but it just seems like CM Punk should have been coming back to just a dastardly shithead. And then we wouldn't have this crowd split. Derek, was there a crowd split for John Moxley in Chicago? I was worried about this.
There was. He actually got some good cheers going
I
on.
thought he would.
And-
Surprising to me, man. Surprising.
I'm not, people. Man, that AEW cult fucking loves him for some reason.
Well, I think a big part of this is, you said it just now, an AEW cult. So they're not just cheering John Moxley, but they're cheering for AEW against CM Punk. They're cheering for Hangman by way of John Moxley against CM Punk. They're cheering for the Bucks and all these other guys. So the crowd is split because, yes, they're from Chicago and they're diehard AEW fans. So obviously they should be diehard CM Punk. But man, they're like, this guy's not been so nice to some of my friends. I don't know about him.
Ugh. And that is why AEW fans are fucking insufferable. Adam, was this a great match?
Yeah, it was a great match.
Derek says nah.
No, I mean, it was what it needed to be. Again, fuck, too long. I mean, it's the pay-per-view. I get it. You're the main event, so it has to go 20 minutes. But these two shine in less than that, and I feel like Punk is there, but he wasn't there the way Omega was there. When Omega walked out tonight, it was like, damn, because when he walked out in Charleston, we were all kind of like, schlubby, like right in the shirt and all that. But now I think we were getting worked because I don't know how much transformation is possible between now and then. But when Omega walked out, he looked impressive. And I even shot a couple people a text like, damn, this is Kenny Omega. This is not who we saw in Charleston, West Virginia. Punk, gets blown up, and like,
Do you think his mind was on other things?
apparently I would not have thought that at the time. I wouldn't have thought that, but they both hit their finishes. What was the actual finish, Derek? Did you write it down?
The GTS. He actually hit him with two of them.
2 GTS. That's
so
right. That's right.
Hit him with one. He drops to his knees because he's exhausted.
Yeah.
Moxley falls, but he actually drapes over Punk's shoulders, works him back up, hits him again with another
There you
one.
go.
The finish was cool. I liked it because it didn't. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the finish was cool because it didn't make it seem like Punk was just overly abusing John Moxley. Like he was exhausted and drained, and it showed. So it didn't take away from Moxley.
And maybe that was a work. Maybe me thinking he's blown up, I'm getting worked again, like Omega in the compression shirt. But
he's a master worker. Now, Derek,
he is. They are. You're right. I'm a big mark. Yes.
Now, Derek, why did you say this wasn't a good match?
I don't. It wasn't. It was a good match. It was solid. It was clean. It hit on most of the story points that you wanted it to. Punk didn't really sell his injury much anymore. So, if you're going to lose the world title because of the injury, that probably should still be there a little bit for me.
There's a plot hole there. Yeah, I agree with that. Plot hole.
So, there was just something missing. It wasn't a bad match by any means. It was a good match.
They both bled a little bit, right? But not gratuitously.
Punk bled a lot more than Mox. And I like the fact that Punk wore white pants
Mhm.
So if you know you're going to bleed and you wear white gear, that just touches my soul because you want to show that through the rest of the match.
Yeah.
Um,
He's going to sell that gear for a really pretty penny.
yes.
Who bled or gusher in a white suit?
CM Punk, of course, new AEW World Champion. And that, of course, leads us to the reason you clicked on this. But you know what? We are a wrestling podcast. We're not a fucking rumor mill, he said, she said podcast. That's why we wanted to actually talk about the wrestling. Now, that being said, hey, y'all, let's talk about rumors and innuendo and juicy high school shit. So I was going to watch this this pay-per-view on Monday, and then we were going to do this Monday night. I woke up and my phone is a buzz of CM Punk has burned the whole carnival down. And so, of course, watch his what ended up being like a 25 minute press scrum. And CM Punk has, for the second time, taken over the world with what was mostly a shoot. It has to be a shoot. It has to be a shoot. We actually know for a fact that there are situations that have arisen from this incident, that it is absolutely a shoot. CM Punk comes on and he pisses off all the AEW faithful. But the thing is, this is what he does. Remember when he left Ring of Honor? He left Ring of Honor in a suit, going to be a corporate guy to the WWE, right? So this is what CM Punk does, but I think this is what old man aggravation looks like. Derek Jones earlier in our chat, which will be available to Patreon members down the road, said that he felt like he got his feelings hurt. And I was like, nah, I don't think it's a feelings hurt. This seemed like an aggravated, grumpy ass old man who is sick that your lawn hasn't trimmed as nice as his. He did come off like that. So now let's talk about it. Derek Jones, you love CM Punk. You love the Young Bucks. What were you thinking? Was your heart breaking?
Did you watch this, Derek, or did you wake up to it on Twitter like the rest of us?
Oh no, I watched it.
You watched it live, of course he fucking did.
That was the only thing that I actually watched live because I worked all evening, so I didn't watch the pay-per-view until the day after.
Oh God, you started with the best part. That was the right 25 minutes, not the main event.
Shit.
So, and the only reason I watched it is because I pulled up social media at one point before I was getting ready to leave work, and I saw CM Punk with the belt. So I was like, I'll watch the media scrum. Can't really ruin a whole lot else. And it ruined everything.
It ruined a lot more than
Whole
you thought it was going to.
Like, stop, Phil. Please stop.
Phil, my man.
And the thing is, Tony Khan sat there and he did not rebuke him once. He did not stop him. He didn't say, hey. And you got to know that the EVPs were probably seeing that, and you know their feelings were hurt, because I think this is going to end up being a generational thing.
Well,
I've been thinking about this a lot. CM Punk
Wow.
is a Gen Xer. He's 3 years old, right? So he's Gen X with me and Adam.
Yep,
The
I
Young
was gonna
Bucks and Omega are a little more millennial, a little softer, a little 10-ply soft, if you know what I'm saying. And I think that they probably saw this as like, oh no, our money mark is basically signing off on our public burial. Like Hangman Adam Page now has to, like Sisyphus, move this rock up a hill, and it has been knocked way down the hill. But, and this is where Derek, this is where I need you. Has he just made the EVPs, who I've been quite frank that I do not like the Young Bucks. I am not down on Kenny Omega like the Cult of Cornette is. I have seen him in fantastic matches, and I know that he's a uber athlete. But did he make them the baby face of baby faces now that he's kind of the new world order of AEW?
To an extent, yes. I mean, they're going to get love everywhere they go now, even places that they didn't before, because, you know, Jericho's doing it in a storyline. CM Punk's doing it in real life. You have professional wrestlers versus a sports entertainer.
Yeah, but CM Punk's not a sports entertainer. Stop that.
He is now. He's 100% a sports entertainer.
Adam.
I guess so. Yeah, I see it. You know, I think for the same reasons Cody is a sports entertainer, you know, like
Yes.
he knows the business, he knows how to do a great match, but he wants so badly to be that sports entertainer, and so I see that. I would agree with Derek on that.
When he
Interesting.
came, okay, so here, yeah, I know you're saying you don't believe it, but remember the debut of CM Punk. He passed out ice cream bars.
Yeah, but I thought that was him being cheeky, a little
Case
shot,
closed.
a little shot at WWE. That's a little shot.
No,
you
it proves
know?
he wanted that. It proves he wanted what
Yes.
WWE wouldn't give him, which was that Hulk Hogan CM Punk must pose.
He wanted to go over at WrestleMania more than anything in the world, and they wouldn't let him.
Fair enough. So, Adam, what was your, Adam is a mark who loves kayfabe, and I'm sure you were probably cringing at how much backstage shit was just being thrown out there.
These things always make me freaking nervous. I don't like them. I don't, I can't watch Total Divas. Like, there's too much breaking kayfabe for me, right? Like, way too much. I'm trying to be like, please, can we protect the business? And these things do not protect the business whatsoever. And there's a reason the WWE doesn't do them. They have talking smack and stuff, but it's different than this press crumbs. They're all after crumbs, and they turn them into news, and headlines, which is another thing. Punk, he slayed so many things, man. I mean, how
All
are
of
we
them,
going to talk about
everybody.
it all? Like,
He called
man.
out Dave Meltzer. He called out fucking and dude
Brian
Dave
Alvarez.
Brian Alvarez, who I do love. Brian Alvarez. I am an Alvarez mark. I think of I know Derek Jones is a big Sean Ross stat. What's his fucking
Scott
name?
Ross Stapp.
Yeah, Scott Ross Stapp. I know Derek Jones is a big fucking fan of that guy. But man, he smoked.
He's the best.
He smoked Adam Page. He smoked the EVPs. He smoked Tony Khan. And no one is talking about this one line. I was trying to figure out how can we bring something different to this, the subject. He said, "Hey, Tony, we're all learning here." He just fucking told the booker, "You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're learning here." And I think that what we're seeing is the way that Vince McMahon ran shit is kind of how you have to do it. You got to alpha dog the alpha dogs. And let's be honest, Tony Khan is a coked up, allegedly alpha, beta male trying to deal with these fucking inflated egos. You have to have someone like Vince McMahon or Triple H who has a bigger ego and even more inflated sense of self to keep these motherfuckers in line. Because I think what you're really seeing is no one there is scared of Tony Khan. No one is scared. Like Ace fucking Steel, who's a backstage producer, who threw a chair like Jerry Springer at another performer. This is out of control. Tony Khan, if what he does going forward is going to show us what the future of AEW is going to be, because I think not enough people are talking about, and I don't want to get there yet. Derek, what do you think about what I just said? Because I want to bring something else later.
So you're talking about Tony Khan not saying anything, not doing anything, not reacting to CM Punk and what he's saying. To me, I'm watching this and I'm looking at Tony Khan and his facial expression doesn't change. He's just sitting there like, nah, whatever. But I feel deep down in my soul, he's sitting there going, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. I'm going to be rich. Just keep talking, Phil. People are going to talk about us. This is going to put eyes on the product. This shit is awesome, but I can't react to it the way I want to because I want to jump up and hug somebody, but that'll make it look weird because I already do that. So
He did that already.
So I can't really act that way right now. So I'm just going to sit here and think about how much good business this could bring me if I can settle it down.
Now, you would be right if the next half hour didn't happen, because of course we know after CM Punk and him eating was just the most disrespectful thing. He's just sitting there eating muffins and drinking seltzer water.
He buried everybody, and the only thing he got over was that bakery.
Mindy's Bakery, buddy. Mindy's
Bakery is a line out.
They're getting overwhelmed right now.
They open on Wednesdays because they're not open on Mondays and Tuesdays, which almost sounds like a shot. I think he was taking a shot at Mindy's Bakery, saying, "Hey, I want muffins on Monday and Tuesday. Let's get this shit open." CM Punk is famous and infamous as they say on the Three Amigos, for kind of burning the place down. Now, Jim Cornette is famous for burning every bridge. I think that's why these two like each other, because we know for a fact that CM Punk listens to Jim Cornette because he's done some of his gimmicks in promo and on camera. Was this inevitable? Because here's the thing, Derek, what you said is absolutely true. If Tony Khan knows anything about this business, he knows this is millions and millions and millions of dollars. But then we have a goddamn fight in the back. And here is the thing that no one else is talking about. You're getting the good shit from House of Kayfabe, because actually I've got to watch everybody else's stuff and see what they didn't talk about. AEW's contract is coming up for renewal in 2004. Now, we had planned to do an episode on this and it never materialized. But the man who now runs TNT and, well, the man who owns pretty much all content now, David Zaslav, he is a Warner Brothers Discovery. They own everything. AEW's contract comes up in 2004 and 2003, sorry. No, wait, they have a 2003, it's up and they have an option. The network can take the option at a quote, much higher price than they're getting it now. Now we know that David Zaslav, because me and Adam did a little research on this, is cutting everything. This motherfucker shelved a $90 million Batwoman movie because it tested badly, and it's now a tax write-off.
And CNN Plus too, right?
And CNN Plus
didn't get enough subscribers in the first few days.
Dude, they had 300,000. They had 300,000 fucking subscribers. There's like 1,000 YouTubers that have more than that. CNN, sure. Nobody's going to fucking watch. No one's going to pay for something you get free. No. You know what I mean? HBO, you don't get it free. That's why you fucking pay for it. And of course, Discovery owns HBO Max. I think that what Tony Khan does going forward, this is a skating on thin ice, if you will, because let's be honest, David Zaslav isn't getting a phone call saying, hey, there's a fucking fight on the Batwoman set. You may be liable for causing, an unsafe workplace. Tony Khan is going to have to work. If the fight wouldn't have happened, Derek Jones, this is money. This is golden ticket shit. This is AEW probably tomorrow should have the biggest ratings they've ever had. If they don't have the biggest ratings they've ever had, which is 1.4 million on the very first episode, this is not looking good because, man, let's be honest, once again, the wild, wonderful world of professional wrestling looks like the mud show carny shit that it is, because you got people acting unprofessionally backstage. Right, Derek? I mean, the fight is what fucked what you said Tony Khan was thinking, and you were probably right about that.
Maybe. So I don't know if Adam's hearing it. Maybe it's just me, but your mic's really hot. So
yeah, sounds like it got crazy.
I think, I don't know. I feel like the fight itself is going to draw people in to be a little more interested to see what comes of this, because if they can get those guys in the back and say, hey, work your shit out, figure it out, don't tell nobody you worked it out, and let's go out here and let these people still think you're fighting, something good can come from this. Something very good can come from this in a few different ways. And this is, so I put it in the chat that I really wanted to get to this point because I really want to talk about how MJF could come out of this being the biggest box star attraction in the world. Oh yeah. And he has nothing to do with it right now. So, and what we didn't talk about is at the end of the pay-per-view, the mask guy takes his mask off and it's MJF. And so he's got the world title opportunity coming up. Okay. So you have CM Punk, you have you called it the ultimate baby faces of baby faces, the Elite. Let that build CM Punk as just the biggest dipshit dickhead in the world to the AEW crowd. And MJF got a huge pop when he come out at the end of the night. He got a bigger pop than anybody else on the card.
Yeah.
He
again in CM Punk's hometown, same with Moxley. We were surprised at his reaction. Crowd was glad to see MJF. They were there for a moment, and it's kind of like us seeing Omega.
And it's a great time to continue to build them because they're going to Arthur Ashe Arena. And that's where MJF is the fucking man.
I think
So-
that you're being pretty markish, and I love it. But look, we now know for a fact that there was not charges. No charges were filed, so cops
Right.
weren't called.
Yeah, a chair was thrown and Ace Steel was probably fired.
But man, you got to figure he's got to get fired, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you
So-
can't let
somebody's got to eat it, and he's the least valuable person in the AEW. Period. He's less valuable than the ticket taker.
they're going to need a sacrifice to the network, because the
Yeah.
network is not going to put up with this. If they're going to re-sign a guy who we know came in as the do you know the guy? You know how David Zasloff got famous? Adam Harris.
No.
He created Naked and Afraid. This motherfucker figured out how to
Wow.
put porn on regular television.
Dude, if there's nothing on that show that offends the network executives, I think AEW is okay.
It's the ratings.
I was going
it's
to say
a rating
the ratings, but
bonanza.
aren't the ratings strong? That's where I want to go there. I think they've got to be happy with the ratings. You know, in their
well-
demo in the time slot, right? Like I know it's not big bang numbers or whatever, but
They're
I think as
meeting
far as
and
appointment television goes on a basic cable network, that they've got to be happy with it.
they're meeting and exceeding their contractual obligation. And then most Wednesday nights, they're their number one show on cable.
And it's way
I-
cheaper than a fucking movie or another TV show. Way cheaper to produce AEW. I would think.
I think that if this isn't handled correctly, it could just be a thing where David Zasloff says, "I'm not putting up with this outlaw mud show bullshit. Just go throw me together a fucking another Law and Order or something like that. Give me another cop drama that I can make for cheap." And dealing with this, because we know for a fact that there are legal people involved. There are people that are lawyering up. There's going to be, and I thought about this too. You know, if you listen to us, you know, by our accents that we're from the wild, rough and tumble West Virginia, and I think we all had like kind of a West Virginia man feel about it. Because like Derek said today, let them fight. They had to get some shit out, and let's go. But unfortunately, that's what makes West Virginia wild and wonderful. And other places, if you put hands on somebody, you're going to want to get paid. Now, in a better day, in a days long past, two men, they fight, they figure it out, and then you go on. But I think that we're going to have some lawyering going on, and that's going to put a big wrench in all of this.
People are going to lawyer up, but they are lawyering up, as we know. So here's where I'm at. And I don't know about the clip you guys watched, but the first thing that must have been brought up was the Colt Cabana contract, right? Isn't that where he goes? First thing is like, hey, weren't you in, improv comedy? Who did you work with in improv comedy? Oh, Scott Colton. Like Punk was going to make an example out of that. And did that
he
set
even
him
said
off?
he blew up well, I think that
So does any of this happen if they don't bring that up? You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing. None of this happens if AEW will just fucking quit living through the dirt sheets and letting Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez be the little fucking British tabloids for everything. Because the thing that pissed CM Punk off. And if he's right that the two people that made the most money off of him is Vince McMahon, which we know is absolutely true. And if Colt Cabana, look, man,
absolutely.
If you're draining your pocket, that's not something that's like hurt feelings. That's your money, that's your retirement. That's your wife's money as well. And we know for a fact that fucking the EVPs have a red phone in Dave Meltzer's house, if he could find it through all the bullshit that's in his room. And that's the problem.
That's the chat everybody wants to get on Patreon.
That's the chat.
Get me in
I
that
want to
thread.
know that Dave Meltzer just slobbing dick, just fucking blowing young bucks, man. It's probably pornographic in nature. The things that he says to those people.
Yeah,
and CM
it's
Punk,
Kyle's dad at the computer.
yeah, for sure. CM Punk does not.
I saw that
his-
meme. I mean, that meme was out before anybody had any time to do about it.
And like, dude, CM Punk just don't want his shit out. That's real life stuff. That's money. That is hurt. That's true hurt feelings.
Man, again, like, yeah, he's pissed off, and it comes out today like he's been paying his mom's bills. You know what I mean? Like, apparently he's had every
he's been taken advantage of by a lot of people.
Right.
So obviously he's bitter. He is old and grumpy. But and I sympathize with Tony Khan, dude. If I have my top star sitting there going off about it, I'm going to be doing this too.
Dude, his face was
Like,
priceless.
what are you supposed to do? He's volatile. He's sitting there eating donuts.
And you don't want to get verbally cut by him.
No,
'Cause
you're
he's
supposed
the
to be
best.
the boss. The best thing
Mm.
you can do is walk out here with everybody still thinking you're the boss. So STFU and get through this.
Well,
Maybe he was thinking about the money. I hope you're right, Derek Jones. Like, I hope that he was, because in my mind and the inside my gut is turning. I'm going, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Well, he even said, and it's another line that people don't say, haven't been talking about, is he actually said, I'm trying to run a business right now.
Yeah.
CM Punk said, I am trying to run a business. So here's the thing, Derek Jones. Now, you fantasy booked this perfectly because you have a great wrestling mind, and it would have worked gangbusters if there wasn't a fucking full-on assault, Jerry Springer style melee, as Dave Meltzer said. What does he do? Somebody's going to have to get fired.
Yeah,
Like, I think
Ace
that-
Steel. Ace Steel's gone. That's the sacrifice. Nobody else is coming out of this.
Was
But
that
do you
guy
think-
on TV at all before this?
He
No.
would do tear aparts. He was in the tear apart with Moxley and
But only
Punk
bec-
at Charleston.
but only because of Punk. Prior to that, he was part of Raven's flock in TNA
Oh
when
my
Punk
God.
was in that.
Oh man,
This guy,
That's rough.
I don't know about that. Why he's suspect? I think it's weird booking. Like, that whole part of it to me, maybe a future episode or something. Like,
You're trying
He's
to
why
do a
does this
Jose
guy come out
Lothario.
2 days ago or 2 weeks ago for the first time ever, gives Punk the contract? So all of a sudden he's the guy that's firing Punk up.
he's Punk's buddy. They've been
Everybody
friends forever.
knows that he trained Punk, though. All those Punk fanatics. I am one too.
knows.
Yeah, I guess so. I've-
Steve.
Did I sound like an AEW? nerd
Nobody
just
knows
now?
that. I'm sorry.
I'm becoming Derek Jones. No. Everybody knows that Ace Steel taught him in Windy City
Excalibur.
Wrestling.
Oh, he's still. He's trained him for his whole career. Now we know. Thanks, Excalibur. Now we know.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
And the fact that he's the one that threw the chair, the whole thing, like, who is this guy? And yeah, if he's gonna get fired, fine with me. Like,
So and that's the thing. Like, there's a reason that he didn't make it any further than 2002 TNA. He never went anywhere else to do anything else because he can't maintain professionalism, and it obviously showed because
Did
he
he
threw a
have
damn
that?
chair.
Did he have that? Did he have that reputation before?
Who would know? He wasn't anywhere of importance.
I'm just afraid that the EVPs are not going to be able to let go of this because, again, this is something generational. These are men. Kenny Omega said that they need a safe space from Jim Cornette's words. This motherfucker has a quote that said that we all just want to be safe. We want to be safe from Jim Cornette. Now, if he's worried about some words on a podcast that you can choose not to listen to, how do you think they're going to deal with getting bit, hit in the head with a chair, and punched by a former 0-2 UFC fighter? And all you fucking nerds out there that are like, well, CM Punk got his ass kicked both times in the UFC. Dude, that's absolutely true. And Derek Jones is actually live for one of those ass kickings. But this motherfucker trained with primetime Anthony Pettis. This man is trained with some of the
Rufus
best
Ford.
UFC fighters in the world, which means that he wins against the regular guy.
which is 2 more pro fights than most wrestlers have ever had.
exactly. I just
Although
don't-
it's not more death matches than Moxley's had, is all.
That's true. That's true. I just can't see the EVPs just because they're soft. They're so baby poop soft that they're
So-
not going to let this go.
So here's the multi-million-dollar question. So Punk leaves. The EVPs are pissed off. They go to his dressing room. Everybody's talking about who swung first.
That's the thing.
That's the question. Did they go in there jaw jacking him saying, listen here, motherfucker, if you're going to be here to play ball, shut your mouth and play ball. Because if we wanted to put you on a shelf somewhere, we would just put you on a shelf somewhere and we wouldn't have brought you in to begin with because we were still making money before you got here. Maybe not as much, but we were still making money. And did Punk swing on him? Because his feelings were hurt.
Aggravation is different than feelings hurt.
No, it's
I
the
do
same
not think
thing.
that his
It's
feelings were
Do you
expressed
hurt.
mean
differently.
his feelings are still hurt from the promo?
Yes,
Adam Page promo, his feelings are still hurt.
his feelings are still hurt,
Dude,
and it's not even from the on-screen.
you're the
promo.
world champion.
Yeah, it's not even the on-screen promo. It was a like a media shot somewhere where someone was talking to Adam Page while he was doing his drinking gimmick, and he's still in character. And he said, "There's a lot of vets in the locker room, but I don't really listen to them." He's doing a drinking gimmick.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. Nobody's saying that. If he did that actually in character as the drunk, that would make a lot of sense.
When he was doing that gimmick, he was always in character. He always had his shot with him. He
glad you brought
the
this
whole
up, Dave.
time, he stayed in character. He never did one media appearance without it.
It's a pretty decent point, but I think it's more about the promo off script with him saying that he needs to protect AEW from CM Punk. And when that promo happened, he was the babyface of babyfaces at the time
But-
because man,
And
they
that's
were-
unprofessional. I agree with
that's
that. I mean, you
not-
can't do that.
It came
But
off
that's-
bad.
That's not even the promo that Punk, like, he doesn't like it, but that's not even the promo that he was mad about during the scrum. He's
But that's the
mad
thing
because
he wants the apology for. That's
No,
the thing he wanted
he-
the apology for.
he still wants the apology for the I don't have to listen to and I'm not going to listen to vets because
I
even
don't
during
think so.
during the media scrum, he said, if you're on a baseball team and you're playing with Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire, and Sammy Sosa, you're not going to go to
Yeah.
batting practice.
Well, I think you're right about that, but I think what he kept saying was, and that's what he told to Dave Meltzer, what did I do to deserve this guy going off script and possibly messing with our first $1 million house? It seems to me that like that's just extra to be pissed off about. If we know anything about CM Punk, he will go find all of the ammunition that he needs to be more pissed off. But I think it really does come down to him going off script and CM Punk maintaining professionalism and not going back. Because here's the thing. Hangman Adam Page would not have wanted that smoke if CM Punk wanted to shoot back during that. He let Adam Page have his little, moment of, I've got to protect you from AEW. I got to get my Prius with my butterfly jeans. I think that's what he's more pissed off about. And he even said it, I had to go out and shoot and bring myself down to the level of Hangman Adam Page. So I think you're right, but I think that's added on. I think the initial thing, and I didn't watch the pay-per-view, but I watched the CM Punk scrum 3 times yesterday.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
it's
I've watched
so
it twice
good.
too,
It's
and it's as
so
long as the
good.
match. It's as long as the main event
It's
match.
everything
Everybody
that
got
you-
that for free, but yet I paid $50 for that match. God damn it!
Everything that you want in wrestling happens in that promo. And
But-
dude, see, the last time that wrestling was this on fire was the summer of Punk when he left with the championship and he went to all those Comic Cons and shot the shit out of Triple H and Vince McMahon, and then he came back and he got what he wanted, and he got to cuck Vince McMahon. CM Punk sat him behind a table in the ring and got all of his demands met to Vince McMahon, the man with the biggest grapefruits. You don't think he's going to steamroll Tony Khan? Are you fucking kidding me?
Mm.
That's what I'm worried about. I think that CM Punk might have to go because I don't see those EVPs and I don't see a lot of those people backstage that are that next generation of wrestler that's going to stand up and they really fought. We're artists, damn it. We don't fight.
So,
Well,
and
go
that's
ahead, Derek.
that's a big part of what you're reading about today in the news is people saying, either a lot of guys are not coming to work unless CM Punk's gone or he makes a lot of apologies. So, what happens Wednesday night?
and they suspended Kingston for this thing backstage, so now they have to do something.
Oh, shit,
right?
that's
they
right.
have to do something. You can't just slap him on the wrist with 2 weeks off and then let this go down. Although I want to say one more thing, man, and I know we're trying to wrap it up here, but there's a word for it, I'm sure, when Punk says things like, "Oh, and I had to bring myself down to your level." Like that's behavior that is symptomatic of his attitude, I think, is being like, I am not the asshole. You're the one making me be the asshole here.
Gaslighting.
I would never have done this, Did he go in there like the whole thing with the donuts?
Muffins?
and the seltzer waters or whatever the fuck that was, like the
Oh,
whole
dude,
thing.
what was more cringy than Tony Khan asking for muffins on his way out? That had to go all the way through the EVP.
I was gonna say that's what they were all mad about, is the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega showed up to the dressing room and there was no Wendy's bakery left. And they got pissed.
Muffins, but it made Tony
They were
Khan-
hungry.
Well, it made Tony Khan look like I'm firmly behind my world champion, and he knows that CM Punk is one of 2 or 3 mainstream stars that they have. So, Derek,
But the Bucks
I know
didn't
that
come out. Omega didn't come out after.
they were
right? Like, what
supposed
else
to.
is-
They were supposed to. The plans changed, right, Derek?
Plans changed.
Yeah, they were supposed to. But what are they going to do? They're going to go out there and look like complete total bitches, because you can't. Who would be able to spar with what CM Punk did? The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Vince McMahon, Triple H, and that's about it. when it
No, they're
comes
going to
to-
have a writing session and then go film being the elite.
The elite,
and
yeah,
really
no
take a
shit,
shot.
Get them on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Go get
It's
them on YouTube.
fucking man. I think this will either. I think AEW is at a crossroads. They're either going to finally hit that next level, because I think tomorrow night they're going to go 1.7. I'm saying right now they go 1.7 million views tomorrow. Views.
I think we
Sorry,
need to
nuclear.
have either like I think we need to revisit this feud like either every week or every month or something, like who's ahead, you know, because a week ago I think we all would have said like, oh shit, WWE's killing them, right? And now wait and see, you know, they could capitalize on this. This could turn into huge money for AEW. Like you
Man,
just
Triple
said.
H is looking like a golden child right now. He's
And they did a
lighting
scrum, by the
shit.
way. WWE had a scrum with Triple H, you know,
Did
afterwards.
they?
I remember thinking, like, oh, will that be worth watching or whatever? Like,
Nah. No, and the thing is, no one would ever be as unprofessional as what CM Punk was, and because
yeah, no,
it's-
you don't
can't do
see-
that to Disney World. Disney World's not going to fucking take that shit.
Dude,
but
what
like,
if Roman Reigns showed up with a box of Krispy Kreme and started fucking?
just ate? Oh my god, it was so disgusting. Like his mouth noises were so
Oh, it was
gross.
gross. There's some. I was gonna say this. I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is like ASMR for certain people. They're gonna rewatch this, watch this over and over
Oh.
again. Him licking the
Him
fingers.
licking his fingers and
Not that
shit.
they-
It was so
Whatever you're into, man. Whatever you're into.
It was everything he could be disrespectful of. He was disrespectful to the president, to the EVPs, to most of the journalists there. He was really nice to Izzy. And
Friend of the show.
friend of the show, Izzy. That's right. Go back and watch Stephen P. New do a wonderful job interviewing her at WrestleCade. We'll of course be at WrestleCade this year. More on that later. But we may not talk about that because this has been a long video. Adam Harris, do you think that Tony Khan is going to be able to get this? And Adam Harris has been in a lot of locker rooms, and he has seen probably how they can get out of hand if you don't have a good, strong leader at the top. Adam, where do you think this is going?
Yeah, well, no, that's true. I mean, everybody needs to know who the boss is at a wrestling show, and I think that's goes for a lot of businesses. And at the best wrestling shows, everybody knows who's in charge, and that person's probably hard to find because everybody's got a question for him. I'm gonna rip off Stephen P. New in the chat, man. He said he needs to let this play out, like let it become the television, you know. And I think we might be in that sweet spot because it's been said 1,000 times on that WWE biography show. You know what I mean? Like that the best storylines are just reality blurred into the squared circle, right? And so maybe this goes down with Stone Cold and Vince McMahon, or Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon.
Stop. Stop. Real quick, dude, you mentioned Total Divas. When I first started dating my wife, you know, we're all wrestling nerds, and it's like almost like having to tell your significant other that you have herpes. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know if she's just going to look at you at disgust.
Yeah.
And she was okay with it. I was like, look, honey, you know, I'm a fucking, at the time I was 38-year-old man. I'm like, I watch wrestling a lot. And then I was watching Total Divas, and she said, why are you watching this? I said, because it's a wrestling show. And she's like, it's not a fucking wrestling show. And she didn't know the word mark at the time, but she does now. She would have probably been like, you stupid mark. And I did watch the first season. Remember John Cena and Bryan Daniel had the cutting
chopping.
contest, wood chopping contest with their shirts off. And, you know, and then I got like Adam. I was like, man, this is too much. This is too much.
Oh
The
no,
veil
they show
is
him
too
backstage,
much.
shaking and howdying, being buddies, right? Showing up to the show together. You know, it's
Yeah,
just-
I couldn't watch it after that. It ceased becoming a wrestling show.
let's
So-
let's do a Total Divas review sometime on the house.
Let's
of
do
Catering.
it. Absolutely. We definitely got to. Derek Jones, the mayor of AEW Twitterville. On the last episode, Stephen P. News said he found a stat that West Virginia is the state with the highest Google searches for AEW, and that is only because 30% of them come from Derek Jones. Now, let's just say, assuming that everyone keeps their job, is this the moment that that AEW gets where we wanted them to go?
This is actually, I think, their make or break moment. I think this is the moment that determines if they're going to continue to succeed, or are they going to not be smart and they will plateau right here, honestly, because of how volatile and how polarizing this is. I hate to even think of that being a factor, but you know, we talk about ratings, we talk about Warner Media, we talk about everything going on. This is that moment. They either keep climbing or they stop here and they're going to end up on a different channel or a streaming platform or non-existent.
One last question. Can CM Punk become a detriment to the fans? Because I've already seen the hashtag stand with Omega and the Bucks. Get laid, nerds. But can CM I mean, seriously, like, dude, we're all marks here. We all get that, but it's a bit much. But Derek, can CM Punk's ongoing presence turn some of you cultists off and say, I'm not going to watch that if they're going to let CM Punk just beat up the Young Bucks and still come out here and win belts?
Absolutely.
That's a sticky situation.
But,
That's an
but,
issue.
but see, here's the thing. We've talked about it a lot before. If AEW had that casual fan, then CM Punk would be the best thing in the world to them, but they don't yet. So it's going to hurt if they don't reel him in.
Well, and I think it's an easy plug to pull, like, right? If it's that way and they feel like they can sustain themselves without him, then they just get rid of him. They save the millions of dollars and just see if you can keep going without CM Punk, you know,
Right.
with the Young Bucks, with the trios title main eventing, working on top.
Man, that is a decision I'm glad I do not have to make.
Second that, yeah.
You know
right.
what I mean? God damn, I do not want to have to make that, because you're going to have to make the fans happy. And AEW has a very esoteric, particular fan base. And they really like railing against the WWE machine. And as much as we love CM Punk, and those of us who are Ring of Honor nerds know that he's not just a WWE guy, right? Now, of course, that's where he became one of the biggest names in wrestling in WWE in the Summer of Punk, which was the last time. Yeah, see, Mania came after CM Punk, right? So that'd have been,
Mhm.
two big glory days of wrestling in the last decade, really.
Mhm.
So CM Punk, settle down. I'm so glad you beat him up, dude. I'd have paid 1 month of salary for Stephen P. New to fucking see that fight in the back. It's the fight we wanted to see. Oh my goodness. So with that being said, if y'all like everything we did, thank you. If you didn't, tell us we're idiots in the comments section. For Adam Harris, for the Human Wrestling Encyclopedia, Derek Jones, I am the other Steve, and we'll be hitting this topic again. You can guarantee that. We've got a man on the inside.